Okay, second time shooting this video. Recording ran out of space. I was just talking like an idiot for about an hour, not an hour, but quite a while. Anyways, in this video, I want to just mainly talk about my training in the past 3 months, 3 or 2 months, I would say. I'll explain why 3 or 2 months in a second. And just how that differs from the past 4 or 5 years of training, how much of a tremendous difference that has. And this video is going to be really useful for you guys if you're struggling to stick to training, or you're just not really seeing the progress that you wanted to see. Either one of those, right, is like a key part of what this video kind of covers or goes over. And again, I'm 5 years into my training, right? I still make mistakes, so it's totally okay, like within calisthenics, if you've been training wrong, or if you've been kind of making the same mistake, which I'm gonna be going into, which again, I'm a prime example of that. So anyways, to start this off, the 4 years, right, of training, they weren't all bad, right? I made some good progress in understanding of the form and stuff like that. But it was like a very difficult period because I was not enjoying the sport. I started training because I liked the look of the skills. I liked the look of the handstand. I liked the look of the front lever, planche, all of these cool skills. And I think all of us did this when we started. We just started doing it, right? We just started throwing ourselves up for handstands, started throwing ourselves up or throwing ourselves into the planche, right? Injuring ourselves, right? Just like as beginners do. But you make progress, right? You make good progress at the start, and that becomes kind of a little bit addicting, even though you're not really working that hard for it, because your body, this is completely new to your body. It's going to make the changes needed. But as your body gets stronger and more used to calisthenics, it then requires more stimulus, more to actually grow and change. And this is the point where I feel a lot of people get stuck. This is the point that I start to get stuck. And that's where it comes to actually building out routines and actually setting up things for progress. Because if you don't do this, if you stick with what you were doing at the beginning, you aren't going to make progress. Eventually, that's just going to stall and go to a stop. You're just going to start building bad habits. And especially with calisthenics, you need good habits because it's a skill sport. It's not just a strength sport like weightlifting or bodybuilding. So me, right, I started just putting in routines, finding random routines online that I thought might work, and then just trying them for maybe a couple weeks and quitting. Then I tried another routine for a couple weeks, and then quit again. Tried another, quit again. And a lot of you I know struggle with this. This is a super, like when I talk to anyone within calisthenics, it's a really big issue, right? You want the goal, you want the skill. It's not really a question of drive. But if it is a question of drive, you just don't really want it that much. You should really be doing something else, something that you actually want the result of. But most of you here, I'm sure, want the result, want to get to this, but you're just stuck in this loop of trying and failing, trying and failing. And I was stuck in that loop for 4 years, 5 years. And I stuck it out. I just, what do you call it? Hammered through this. I just knucklehead or something like that, just brute force my way through calisthenics to not where I am now, but where I was before 3 or 4 months ago. And it's impressive, but it's also, I didn't enjoy that process. What a lot of people get stuck on is not the routines that they put in place, not how they do things, but like as in whether or not they actually enjoy the process of the calisthenics, whether or not they have something to stimulate drive or to actually drive themselves within the session. And that's what I want to get into. So you know how my past 4 or 5 years typically was, especially if you watch back past videos and stuff like that. But the past 3 months was completely different. And I say 3 or 2 months, right? Because the first month was just me getting started. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So the first month, this was after comp, and this was after my disappointing disappointing performance. So I felt like something needed to change. I'd already quit calisthenics multiple times. I said, like, this is it, I'm not doing this anymore. But you know, there's something about quitting something that you spent so much time on, and I still wanted to be able to get those goals. I really wanted them. So something had to change. And what ended up happening this month, or the 3 months ago, was I ended up just getting rid of all of my pride. Instead of starting off with these 2-hour workouts or these 3-hour workouts, because I'm a veteran that has done 5 or 4 years in calisthenics, I started with 5 minutes, doing as much useful stuff as possible, but not having a properly programmed routine. So essentially starting again, but with the knowledge and experience that I have in terms of what helps, what doesn't help. So it wasn't like a beginner starting with 5 minutes and just doing random shit. It was me starting with my experience and then making the most out of the 5 minutes I had. What this really did, because my consistency wasn't that good before, what this really did was create a feeling of this is special, right? This training is special. I only get 5 minutes a day. It's valuable. It's a commodity, right? That gave me that feeling of that. And that really helped me start to enjoy and value the sessions that I was doing. That's a super important part. And this is, by the way, this 5 minute, right? Starting with 5 minutes is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. The second thing is super important as well, but we're starting off with this 5 minutes. Or starting small. And I've made a whole entire video on starting small. I'm pretty sure if you want to check that out. Shameless plug or whatever you want to call it. But just starting with 5 minutes, doing the session and not being able to do any more, right? Having to cut myself off at that point really made this like, okay, I value this. I can't wait to do this next session. I can't wait to do the same thing again. Tomorrow, right? It became something assignable. And even when it wasn't, even when I didn't feel like it, because it's only 5 minutes, it was easy, so easy just to push myself through it, right? I know a lot of you are like, oh, Shagan, I'm 10 years into my training, or I'm 2 years into my training. 5 minutes is not going to cut it. It's like, this is your startup period. This is your mental training. Think of it like that. I know you guys want to just start off really big. You want to go in how you've always been doing, but like that hasn't, let's be real, that hasn't been working, right? We need to change our approach. We need to try something different. We need to try something new. So I offer this to you guys that are willing to try something new, that are willing to put in something or test something new. And it's not the case, oh, you need to do this for years. I'm pretty much back at my kind of standard workout routine, or however much volume I was doing when I was trying to just fit in 2 hours. And this has only been after 3 months. So how you actually do this is, okay, 5 minutes is, we've gotten easy, we've gotten used to 5 minutes. We can then increase it to 10 minutes maybe next week, 15 minutes the next week, 30 minutes, that's a big jump, 20 minutes the next week, and then 25, going on, right? And you're just increasing it, you're increasing the amount that you're able to do within the session, because as well, right, you will know what you want to add to the session if you're restricting. If you've only got 5 minutes to do something, you'll naturally start to think, oh, I wish I could add this in, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do this. And you'll naturally know, okay, like when I do increase it to 10 minutes, I can actually fit this in, I can actually do this. So you'll know, right? And you'll know exactly what you want to work on, and you'll start to value the sessions more. You'll start to be more specific about what you're training, because again, you've only got 5 minutes to train. So you want to train what's holding you back, right? You want to make progress. You want to do the kind of the drills that have been holding you back, the things that you actually need to work on. Again, if you just do this and you're just doing handstands, then sure, or like just random attempts, random kick-ups, that's not really practice. And that's kind of what us as beginners do, but it's not what us as like the struggling, stuck athlete does. And handstands are fun, just throwing yourself up, but like the actual training is what we're working on, right? We're trying to make this a habit, trying to make this fun for ourselves. That's stage one. And once you get to like the stage of 40 minutes, you then kind of just, you can ditch the minutes or the time altogether and just say, I want to do a certain amount of volume within my attempts. Or if you guys really don't like the time, you can just say, okay, I'm going to do a certain amount of volume, but as long as it falls under 5 minutes, you can do it that way, right? And then it just increase, right? Slowly increase, very slowly. you can always go back. If it feels like this is too much to maintain, always just take a step back. Okay, I'm going to go back to 20 minutes, or I'm going to go back to 15 minutes and just keep building this. Okay, we're in this for life. We're in this for the year to come, right? Sacrificing a month or 2 months so that we can actually get this disciplined and properly working in our heads, properly valuing the sessions, is a very, very small price to pay, especially if we've wasted years of training already, right? Let's try something different, is all I'm saying. Now, that's number one. I did promise you guys 2 things. And so this is for the consistency, which I was saying at the beginning of the video. I was saying this is going to help you with consistency. And I'm pretty sure I also said that this is going to be helping you with actually pushing, or actually, no, I didn't say that though. I almost spoiled it, guys. It's also going to be to do with why you're not making progress or why you're not achieving in your sessions. I think so. Don't hold me to it, but this is what the video is about anyway. So if I made a mistake at the beginning, I'm sorry, I clickbaited you. But this is going to be what the video, this is going to be like what stops you from making progress within the actual session, which a lot of us are stuck with. But I'm going to say this now in the most kind way possible. You're not working hard enough. You're not doing enough within your sessions. And what I mean by that is not in like, oh, you're not spending enough time on the sessions. You're not spending enough energy, focus, and commitment to your attempts. Why is this? Like you may think, oh, you may get angry at me. That's fine, right? But there's always a way to push yourself harder. And what I found before was I was going into sessions, like this is before when I was in the 4-year, 5-year period before I started this 3 months. I was just doing sessions for the sake of doing sessions, not really with anything in mind. Just, okay, I'm going to do planche hold. I need to get to this amount of seconds, or I need to do this amount of sets. But I didn't have a route really planned out for me. I didn't really have kind of anything to kind of ground myself or to tell myself I was properly making progress. Of course, you've got the kind of routines and stuff like that. That's all cool. But nothing that really symbolized progress or nothing that really drove me within the session. So they would just be me turning up for the sake of turning up. And that's, you'd never want to get into that, right? That's boring. That's just you saying, oh, I'm here, I'm training, I'm being a good boy pretty much, right? What's missing though? What is missing? The thing that is missing is goals. And I don't mean goals as in the sense of you've got your long-term goals. You've got like, I want to be able to do full planche in the next year, right? That's a goal for a lot of us or many of you. And, or maybe I want to get front lever, right? That's a goal for many of you. Those are long-term goals. That's a year in advance and it's too far away. Like, let's be so real. It doesn't make this session feel important. Ask yourself that question. Like, why is it that you're doing this session? Like, you could just miss this session and you've got every reason to. It's like, okay, if I don't feel like doing the session, I'm probably not going to make progress, right? Like most of the time. And people say, oh, just do the session even when you don't feel like it. And I genuinely don't like that point, because honestly, a lot of the time when you don't actually fully commit to sessions, you aren't really making progress. You aren't really training anything, unless it's just like refinement, understanding, but you still have to be committed to the practice. So how do we commit ourselves to the practice? Medium-term goals aren't really helpful. Maybe in the month, I want to reach, like as in I've got a 8-second front lever, I want to reach a 12-second front lever. Maybe that's by next month, right? That I want to reach this goals. And I'm just giving example goals, by the way, guys. I'm just, but like as in that, like in the next month, I want to reach that goal. But it still doesn't tell me why this session that I'm supposed to do right now is important. So what's going to tell me why this session right now is important is the goal that I actually have within the session. I want to just stay silent to let that stick a little bit, like that. Oh, whoa, I never thought of that. But do you guys actually set goals for your sessions? Do you have objectives for your sessions? Do you have things that you're trying to beat within the sessions compared to like last session that you did? I didn't. right? I didn't have that in my training, and a lot of people, they don't have like something that drives them. Even if you don't have, even if you don't reach that goal within the session, think of it like you're a horse and you've got a carrot on the stick, right? You're moving without like thinking. You're just going towards that goal without thinking. It's close, it's reachable, it's obtainable, right? You may have to be smart about it, and you may have to take the stick off your head and actually just eat the cat. But like, as in, the smarter you are, the more kind of effort you put in, not just physically but mentally into the session, the more likely you are to achieve this or to get this. So an example of a session, I love just putting it in examples of strength goals, because technique goals are a little bit harder to program or set up, right? So just to put it simply, strength goal. Let's say, for example, I'm doing planche presses. I have a goal of reaching 5 planche presses. I can do 3 planche presses in a row. So my last win was I got 6 planche presses, and it was within 2 attempts. Okay, so I'm going for volume, and 6, whatever amount of volume I want to do, or however many attempts I want to do in the day, which is 6, I want to do it in as few sets as possible. So however many, sorry, I said attempts, I meant reps. However many reps I'm doing in the day, I want to do it in as few sets as possible. So maybe I'm getting 6 reps within 3 attempts of planche presses, and then I bring it down to 2. So I've reached my goal of 2, right? And then I increase the volume again. I increase it to 10 or something like that, right? So now I've gotten 6 and 2. I want to get 10 reps in 2, right? I start off, I go 1, 2, 3, and then I get 4, right? So 3 sets of 3 planche presses, and then the last set I get 1, or maybe I get 3, 3, 2, and 2, right? My goal is to bring that down to 2, but what's going to be super cool if I can get 4, 3, and 3. Yeah, that makes sense. My quick maths, not so quick, but but 4, 4, and 2, right? That makes 3. That's progress, right? Maybe I can't get it down to 2 in this session, but what I can possibly do is I can get it down to 3. I can get 10 and 3. I was gonna ask if that makes sense to you guys, like you're listening to me, but that's really about, like, that's how I set goals anyway within my session. That's what's really helped with sessions. And you can see that I don't necessarily have to think too hard on my next goal or this goal for the session. I think people don't want to set goals because it's hard to set goals or hard to plan it out, and it's just a drag, right? But this way it makes it so much easier. Just like, you know, your next goal, whether it's like planche, front lever, handstand, one arm handstand, whatever skill you're going for, muscle up, I can't even list anymore, but you have these goals that are kind of almost ordered, right, and set for you. What does this do? If I have a goal and I know that goal, I know that it's obtainable within the session, it's very close. How much more important is this session now that I have a very close by goal that's achievable? I don't want this to wait. That's the cool thing about this. I really want to do the session. I'm burning with passion to do this session because I have a goal that's super close, super obtainable within this session. I really don't want to push it to tomorrow or later or anything like that. And when I do go into the session, I'm going in with force. I'm going in with total intention to reach that goal that's close enough for me to achieve. So what we went over was starting small, right? Starting to build up the habit, right? And again, I'm sure the book like Atomic Habits, or so, like I've read like quarter of that book, but that book would definitely kind of mention things like this. This is literally how you build a habit. Fitness is a habit, whether you want to call it that or not, right? So starting small, building up, right? Make it a commodity, make it something that is special, or make it something that is valuable. And then, I'm embarrassed, but I've already forgotten the second one. I am tired, by the way, guys. But the second one is, drum roll. Oh, setting goals. So starting small, setting goals, right? Those are your two keys to solving both the inconsistency of your calisthenics training and then solving how actually much progress you make within the session, how well you actually turn up to the session. So that is it for the video. I'm not going to drag this on too long. Don't know how long this video is, but if you do want some extra help kind of setting this all up, organizing this, so that you've actually got a routine that is based around, if you need it, building up, right? If you've been inconsistent, building this up slowly so that it becomes a commodity, becomes a habit, and then becomes something that you love doing. And then also setting goals, setting proper goals. So like the training is actually based around goals, around reaching goals, continuously achieving. Then all you need to do if you want some extra help with this is click the link in the description, and there should be like a little form that comes up. This comes alongside with the additional coaching benefits of, like form checks and reviews, keeping you in line, making sure that you're doing exercises correctly. So if that is interesting to you, then just click the link down in the description. Anyways, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching all the way through. And also, I know I've got like a small subscriber count, modest subscriber count, but really thank you to all of you that have subscribed and are supporting and liking the videos. It really does mean a lot to me. Honestly, I get like a little dopamine hit every time I see new subscribers. So again, it means a lot to me, guys. And yeah, I'll see you next video. Enjoy your week, guys. Peace out.